Hello, everybody. There's two of us here. Okay, good to see. All right, so we have two people here. If you can, and like and share, if you can like and share the stream, see if we can get some more friendly people in here. That'd be appreciated. And the person left again. Anyways, yeah. So, all right. Well, we have some more people in here now. Oh, let's see. Considering I have a few more stories tonight, I figure I might get started more right away. We got, in grand total, I think we got 14 stories to go over, 13 articles, and of course, bit of a wrestling roundup. So, guess I'll just go ahead and get right to it. You know, since I got at least one other person here. Anyways, not any further ado, let's go ahead and get started right into this. So tonight we're going to start out with the anime portion of the news cycle. We got 8 stories in anime. All 13 articles we'll be reading tonight will be from CBR. We got 8 anime related articles, 5 comic related, and then of course the wrestling roundup. Also we have the we have the let's see. Oh, and the this day in each history at the end. So, anyways, without any further ado, why don't we go ahead and get started? So here's the first article we're gonna go through here. Sounds like it gone. All right. So let's see. All right. So here we go. Why the Empty Box and Zerath Maria will likely never get an anime. Despite being well received overseas, the reception in Japan was less so. Well, obviously, with anime, if it's not popular in the home country, then or with manga, anime, as most people know, is basically a televised or televised or streamed version of a manga, basically, film version of a manga. Um, and mangas are Japanese comics. Despite being well received overseas, the reception in Japan was less so. Article by Molly Kishikawa, published 11 hours ago. So let's find out what's going on here. Let's see. All right, we still got no goody. See that? All right, so they can find. Okay, there we go. There are an abundance of light novels that anime production companies could pull ideas from. In recent years, some of the most popular anime titles have gotten their start as light novels. Sword Art Online being one of the more well known examples. Numerous genres and ideas can be expressed through light novels. Now, I'm not exactly sure how exactly, but I think light novels are slightly different from manga. I think light novels are kind of like maybe a shorter version of a graphic novel. Like it might be like comic or manga size, but it's not like a series. It's like a one shot. Um, but it's more like as I said, so not to mention how easily accessible they are for someone looking to tell a story. Many anime start out as original ideas or manga, but light novels allow those who aren't able to draw or have industry connections to share their story. So I guess light novels are more like a text version um, of a manga. Like if you guys know, for those of you who've been here on Friday nights when we've been going through our history retrospect, you guys have seen when I've covered comics, a lot there they'll include text stories in there. So that I think the light novels are probably like text stories based on how they just described it here. While these series are generally successful, sometimes things just don't work out, as was the case with The Empty Box and Zareth Maria. A supernatural series, The Empty Box and Zareth Maria, also known as Hakuoki. Oh, okay. I guess that's all one. I thought that was two. I thought that was two separate titles, but I guess that's actually one title. Okay. Follows ordinary high schooler Katsuki Hoshino, who spends his days chatting with his friends and eating um, unaibos. Let's see. He's perfectly content with his life and doesn't wish for anything else. One day, a girl named Maria Aya Otonashi transfers to his class. To both their surprise, he recognizes her. It turns out this isn't the first time they've met. It's the 13,118th. Whoa! I think I can see where this is possibly going. They are trapped in a loop. That's what I was thinking. Within the rejecting classroom, caused by one of their classmates using a device called a box to grant their wish and prevent their inevitable death. With each loop, memories are erased, but Kazuki somehow retains faint memories of previous events. This is only the first in a series of events involving the boxes and Kazuki's classmates. Actually, this sounds like it has a very similar premise to the Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya. That one point in that series where they actually spent like 8 episodes where they basically um, did the same day over and over again, just with different outcomes, different things playing out. So let's see. Anyways, the series became quite popular in the West after Yen Press distributed the English translation. In its native Japan, however, the reception wasn't as warm. This could be one of the major factors as to why the series hasn't been considered for an anime adaptation, as the success of a series usually measured by Japanese reception. While many countries strive for worldwide success, or many companies strive for worldwide success, just as important to gain success in their home country. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, if they don't feel that the Japanese people, because you have to remember too, first and foremost, and this is what a lot of people tend to forget when they're like sitting there on Twitter and they're criticizing the Japanese, and they're sitting there like pulling all the SJW garbage towards, not just towards anime fans here in the West, anime and manga fans here in the West, but anime and manga fans, in Japan as well. Um, First and foremost, the mangakas and the light novel writers and all that. Their primary target audience is their own people, is the Japanese people. It's not out west. I mean, if their manga or anime, becomes a worldwide success, more power to them. That's the way they look at it. But first and foremost, their target audience is their own people, and they're going to and they're going to market to their own people first and foremost. And if people beyond that circle get into it as well, that's good. Um, See, another factor could be the bizarre situations and descriptions of events within the series itself. Supernatural light novels tend to do well in Japan, so the lack of interest in Hakomari um, seems rather odd. This could be explained by the fact that the supernatural elements are a result of the boxes and not some spirit or creature. So I can see what they're talking about there. In other words, it's a little out, even for a supernatural series, their methodology is a little out of the norm um, for most supernatural series. So it's may take you a while to really pick up on it. It's possible that companies were more interested in getting in on the isekai craze, which is true. The isekai craze is still going on very strong now. Isekai manga and anime, those are the type where the protagonist is usually transported to another world, usually a fantasy world, where they go from being just ordinary in their own world. Hey, Sakura. Thank you for coming in. If you can like and share the stream, that'd be appreciated. Thank you. Um, yeah. So, anyways, um, let's see. Yeah, isekai. For those of you who don't know what isekai are the idea of somebody being transported to another world, usually some type of fantasy world. Usually, the protagonist in the story usually is somebody who's just an ordinary person in the real world, and then they get transported to another world where they become a hero usually, or like in the case of that time I got reincarnated as a slime, they come back as a slime. Anyways, that's taken hold in recent years. So supernatural light novels weren't considered as often as isekai ones. Many light novel anime adaptations have come from the isekai genre, with companies hoping to find the next SAOs. That's Sword Art Online. And also, guys, if anything in any of these articles catch your interest, um, or you want to ask about them, feel free to do so. You want to you have anything you want to say about them, or add to the conversation, or ask. I'll do my best to answer the questions if I can. It's time to stop this isekai stuff. Hmm. Actually, from what I've seen, they are pretty interesting. I've seen some, but um, obviously it's still going to be around for a while because it's still pretty popular there, Sakura. But would be interesting to hear your thoughts on why you think it's time for the isekai stuff to stop, because those are pretty popular. Yeah. Hello. Glad to see people coming in. Just so many. I just had to do that because I got to. Okay. Yeah, well, I can see your point though, Sakura. Sometimes you do get to that point where sometimes you just oversaturate the market so much that after a while um you actually just get sick of it. Actually, in fact, it's kind of funny because on my cable system out here at one point we had Funimation channel, right? And I would watch, I'd try to watch some of the animes on Funimation channel. But after a while, they got kind of lazy with their programming. It's like they wouldn't rotate their schedule around as well. And now granted, I liked Oron High School Host Club. Okay, and I enjoyed watching it. But I didn't need to see the same 2 episodes 3 to 6 times a day. That's how bad it got. I really enjoy ninja and samurai anime um, based on real life people. Oh yeah, ninja and so then there's a number of them that I've seen that are pretty good. Let's see. There's I'm trying to remember here. Let's see. I know there's Hakuoki. Um, let's see. There's Hakuoki. There's let's see what Shura no Toki. Shura no Toki is probably one of my more favorite ones of those type of animes. That one was really good. Um, let's see. What else? Hakuoki. Another one that was based on the let's see. Well, there's also Bakumatsu in the Intrigue one. Hakuoki was awesome. Yeah, and just as I fix itself. ah. Oh, now I remember what the one I was thinking of. Peacemaker Kurogane. That's another one of my favorites. Sengoku Basara. That one was a good one too. It had a good soundtrack too. Sengoku Basara. But the one I was thinking of, that one that was really at the tip of my head there was Peacemaker Kurogane. That one was very fun to watch. Um, oh yeah, so quite a bit. Let's see now. So regardless of the reason, it's likely that Hako Marie will never see an adaptation unless a company is willing to take a chance on the series. It's probably going to fade into obscurity. The series was originally released from 2009 to 2015, spanning 7 volumes, so it's not likely that interest will suddenly increase in Japan without some help. There could come a day when someone will want to animate the series, but that day may not arrive anytime soon. Yeah, that's probably true. I mean, look, we're what, like 7 years since the series ended, and they're just talking about it now. Hmm. Chances are it won't get animated because, again, unless again as they point out, unless there's a that was a class that was a classic, yeah. So unless all of a sudden it starts becoming popular again, yeah, chances are the Empty Box and Zera Maria will probably won't get an anime. All right. Anyways, moving on to the next article here. Um, moving on to the next article here as we continue to move forward here. Dragon Ball gives fans a chance to win Piccolo's cape. Wow, that sounds very interesting. Let's see where this article takes us. Dragon Ball fans in Japan are being given the chance to win a one of a kind official replica of Piccolo's iconic white cape. Article by Michael Lacerna, published 11 hours ago. So I guess the one on the picture on the left there is the live version of it, and then of course we get the animated version of it, and on the right there with Piccolo. Piccolo being the fashion model there. Anyway, so let's get to this. One lucky Dragon Ball fan will soon take home a unique replica of Piccolo's cape. The official Japanese Dragon Ball Twitter account has kicked off a new contest where the grand prize is a one of a kind, handcrafted replica of Piccolo's trademark white cape, complete with high bundled collar and wide pointy shoulder pads. Um, In order to enter the contest, fans simply have to follow the Twitter account and retweet the contest announcement before May 15th. which would be which would, I believe, May 15th. That's this Sunday, I believe. The winner will be selected randomly and will be notified via direct message. Unfortunately, for the series' millions of international fans, the contest is only open to residents within Japan. I guess that would kind of make sense. I mean, if you're going to customize a thing like that, I think the problems trying to ship that internationally would, you'd end up ruining the product, you know. So, um, that might be what the situation is there. So, anyways, as we continue on here, let's see. The contest is being held to promote the upcoming release of the latest movie in the series, Dragon Ball Superhero. Piccolo will play a major role in the film, which has a story that concentrates on the master-student relationship between the Namekian warrior and his first martial arts pupil, Gohan. Yeah, from what I understand, that particular series, the focus is going to be actually on Piccolo and Gohan. I don't know how much of a role Goku or Vegeta or any of the others will play in it, but set sometime after the events of the Moro arc, the movie will see the pair fighting side by side once again as they do battle with Gamma 1 and Gamma 2, a new pair of android fighters created by the Red Ribbon Army. Yeah, the movie also sees the return of the Red Ribbon Army from the original Dragon Ball series. Piccolo will debut a new transformation in the movie, which gives the former villain a new golden color scheme, while Gohan will wear his own replica of his mentor's outfit, including the cape. Dragon Ball Superhero was originally planned to debut in Japan on April 22nd, but production on the movie was significantly delayed after Toei Animation, the studio that has handled all of the franchise's animation duties since the original 1986 TV anime, fell victim to a targeted ransomware attack. The movie is now scheduled to premiere in the region on June 11th. Crunchyroll recently announced that it will distribute the film internationally and plans to give it a theatrical release sometime this summer. See if you guys are saying anything. All right, nothing new comment wise, anyways. And if you guys can, if you haven't already, if you can like and share the stream so we can get some more friendly people, in here and engaged, that would be appreciated. Let's see. Fans looking to see more of Piccolo and his cool cape can catch up on the entire Dragon Ball saga on Crunchyroll, which is now streaming every anime series in the franchise, ranging from the original 1986 series to the 2017 animated adaptation of Dragon Ball Super. Dragon Ball was created by Akira Toriyama in 1984 and has since become one of the best-selling manga series of all time. With over 300 million copies in circulation around the world, the series is widely credited with helping to establish anime and manga's mainstream popularity outside of Japan. Yes, subs and dubs of Dragon Ball have been showing up ever since basically the late 80s. You know, I mean, even here in North America, originally it was Ocean Studios that was originally handling the dubbing duties, and before Funimation got hold of the license. So, um, if there are some of you who might have the trade who traded tapes back in the day, and you might hear the likes of like the late Kirby Morrow, Kelly Sheridan, Lelania Lindbergh, those individuals, um, you know, Ted Cole, Brian Drummond. If you have those tapes, so, and then Funimation, of course, got the license, I think, sometime in the early to mid 2000s, and of course, we all know what happened with that. So, anyways, okay, so let's see, where were we? Oh, yeah, let's see, yeah, okay. The complete original manga, as well as its ongoing sequel series, Dragon Ball Super, are distributed in English by publisher Viz Media. All right, so we got through that one. Mr. Yanafui's here. Hello, Mr. Yanafui. Piccolo is not very useful. I would like to see how they upgrade him. Well, I mean, the movie will probably be coming out soon there, Mr. Yanafui. You could probably go check it out. I remember Kirby as Moroku in it. Yeah. Kirby he was Moroku in Inuyasha. He was Cyclops in X-Men Evolution. Let's see. I'm trying to think of, well, I mean, he's had a few roles, obviously. He was a pretty let's see. I know he was in Infinite Revice too. I just can't let's see. I don't know if he was Yuki or Kaji in Infinite Revice. Um But yeah, it was sad that he passed away a couple of years ago. Anyways, so getting ready to move on to the next article then. All right, here we go. This one piqued my interest a little bit here. This anime about anti censorship is as relevant today as it was over a decade ago. All right, so let's look at this one now. Library Wars is a series of light novels, manga, anime, and films from the 2000s whose main plot point about censorship remains notably relevant today. Article by Nikki Rodriguez, published 10 hours ago. All right, so let's see what this is all about here then. Library Wars may be a series from the aughts, basically 2000s, but aspects of this story are surprisingly relevant today. Taking place in an alternate reality, only a few years shy of our present day. Library Wars centers on the librarians who fight against the wide-ranging abuses of power that lead to the censorship and erasure of knowledge. Sound familiar? The series stands as a prescient reminder of the current struggles against censorship being faced by graphic novelists and prose writers in the United States. The injection of militarization for the libraries might immediately clock the series as fiction and fantasy, but given the historical record of book burnings and other acts of censorship, it's not an entirely unjustifiable reality to imagine. In taking a look back at Library Wars, it's hard to ignore the lasting impact of this series and its creative approach to discussing censorship, as well as to not be reminded of the current wave of book bannings, or even a banning of certain political thoughts or tweets. Uh, yeah, so let's see. All right. All right. So let's see. Library Wars follows Kasahara Iku, a 26-year-old member of the Library Defense Force, as she rises through the ranks in her journey to protect freedom of expression and access to information for all, ultimately becoming the first woman in the elite library task force. The franchise began as a light novel series written by Hiro Arikawa in 2006 and 2007. The 4 volumes inspired 2 manga series. The 1 volume Toshokan Senso Spitfire, illustrated by Yayoi Furodori in 2008, and the 15-volume Library Wars Love and War, illustrated by Kirio Yumi, which ran from 2007 to 2014. And again, guys, as always, if anything catches your attention here, you want to comment on something or ask something, feel free to do so. And if I can answer the question, I'll do my best to do so. Um, in regards to the material here. So. Library Wars received a 12-episode anime adaptation and OVA 2008, which was then succeeded by an anime film, Library Wars: The Wings of Revolution, 2012. The success of the series also resulted in 2 live-action films, Library Wars in 2013 and Library Wars: The Last Mission in 2015. Library Defense Force, LDF, is a paramilitary group that formed in opposition to the Japanese government's Media Betterment Committee's Media Betterment Act, MBA. The plot and way in which the LDF function is inspired by the Japan Library Association, a statement on intellectual freedom in libraries, which went into effect in 1954 and was amended in 1979. Ultimately, it is interpreted in the series as libraries having the right to collect whatever materials they wish, the freedom to allow access to them, with patrons given guaranteed privacy, and the library vowing to oppose improper censorship, and protect the freedom of libraries and those who use them. So wow, these people would be real strong First Amendment advocates, wouldn't they? Here in the states. Hmm. Let's see. All right. The militarized nature of the LDF arose from the need to protect the people during NBC raids, um, on libraries as enforcement methods continue to escalate toward violence. While Library Wars also delves into romance and the inner working of the LDF as Iku becomes more entrenched in the line of duty, what stands out are the parallels in history regarding the fight to protect books and media for public consumption. The censorship of books has been a method used by the ruling classes for centuries as a way to prevent the spread of ideas that challenge the status quo. Currently, a variety of graphic novels have been challenged and are being outright pulled from school libraries because they openly discuss topics such as racism, queer identity, and the history and persecution of marginalized peoples. Some of these books include Art Spiegelman's Moss, Maya Kobabe's um, genderqueer. Well, okay, but some of these books should not be. Granted, maybe in a public library, these books should be available for anybody to read. But I think if you're trying to put some of these books in the hands of kids, no, I don't think kids need to be reading some of this stuff. If their parents want them to know stuff like this, that's the parents' decision, not the government, nor not even librarians. And Jerry Kraft's a new kid, but there are many books that are being challenged in favor of upholding racism, transphobia, and queerphobia. However fictionalized such a militarized vision of libraries may be, libraries and librarians are very much fighting against local governments today as they try to keep books on shelves. Library Wars' decision to make this issue the basis of their plot allowed for the creation of a truly unique series that can be remarked upon in any period as a reminder of what shape oppression can take and how easily it can be repeated when power is unchecked and afforded to only a select few. All right, well let me say this. Okay, for public libraries, okay, anybody should be able to go into a library and find any book they want. Okay, there are certain subjects be directly that should not be directly related to kids unless their parents give their permission to it. Okay, because what that comes out to indoctrination. They're basically trying to say, well, people are trying to set, but the people who are trying to push these books, like who are saying, well, we're just trying to fight against queerphobia and transphobia. No, you're trying to indoctrinate kids, and you don't have the right to indoctrinate kids. You can still put those books on, in the adult part of the library. And if there are adults who want to go and read that book, they should be able to. But you still don't have a right to force that on a kid whose parents may not approve of that. If the parents want the kids to know that stuff, then it's the parents' right to determine if and when the kid is ready to see that. Not an outsider, not a librarian, not a teacher, not a politician, the parents. So that's the only thing I'd have to say about that. You know, and they talk about the censorship against those subjects, but they're also doing it at the other end too of not allowing people who have a opposing viewpoint. They're trying to censor those who have an opposing viewpoint by trying to scare people or make them think that they're evil or something. So it kind of works both ways. But anyways, getting ready to move on to the next article here. Let's see where we at. Oh, we're already at the 38-minute mark. Okay, coming on 39 minutes. So getting through some articles here tonight. All right, so here's our next article here. Studio Ghibli shares Totoro, Monsters Inc. crossover artwork gift from Pixar. Studio Ghibli shows off a charming piece of My Neighbor Totoro and Monsters Inc. artwork that was sent to the company by the staff at Pixar. Article by Michael Cerna, published 10 hours ago. So here we go right here. It does look pretty interesting, doesn't it? Studio Ghibli showed off a fun piece of My Neighbor Totoro artwork that was sent in by Pixar. The new image recreates the iconic scene of Studio Ghibli's mascot, Totoro, um, waiting for the cat bus in the rain. All right. But instead of an unnamed little girl standing beside him, he is now accompanied by Mike Wazowski and Sully from Pixar's 2001 hit movie Monsters Inc. Um, the illustration was the subject of some speculation for quite some time, as Studio Ghibli initially shared it on their Twitter account in 2021 without offering any explanation or context for the art, which led some fans to believe that this was the animation company's sly way of announcing a collaboration with the American CG animation studio. Hmm, could be interpreted right in that way, I guess. So let's see. Ghibli shared the image again recently, but now showed the entire piece, which reveals that it was simply a gift sent to the company by the staff at Pixar. The outer frame of the artwork includes messages from several Pixar staff members from the time, including John Lasseter, who was the executive producer on Monsters Inc., and worked on the English release of several of Studio Ghibli's movies, including Kiki's Delivery Service and Howl's Moving Castle. Studio Ghibli shares the image every year in May, as the month's name ties into the names of My Neighbor Totoro's two protagonists, the sisters Mei and Satsuki. Mei is obviously a homophone for the English name of the month, and Satsuki's name resembles the Japanese Satsuki Bare, a term that is commonly used to refer to the fifth month of the year. This has led the studio to encourage fans to rewatch the film during the month of May every year. Kind of an interesting marketing technique there. Interesting promotion technique. See. So let's see where we're at now. My Neighbor Totoro was originally released in 1988 and was directed by Hayao Miyazaki, one of the anime industry's most celebrated creators. The movie received rave reviews and is still one of Studio Ghibli's most highly acclaimed works. Um, the film was initially released in North America in 1993 by Fox Video and Streamline Pictures, and was re released in 2006 by Disney with a redone English localization and dub, which starred Dakota Fanning, Elle Fanning, um, Lee Salonga, and Frank Welker. Frank Welker, of course. Now, think about this. Frank Welker, and I think even to this day, he's still active. The dude, I think, is like in his 70s, and he's still active in the end, still going strong too. That's saying something. This edition of the movie is available on Blu-ray from G Kids, and is also available for streaming on HBO Max. Despite announcing his retirement after the completion of 2013's The Wind Rises, Miyazaki is now working on a new animated film titled How Do You Live? The movie is based on the 1937 novel of the same name by Yoshino Genzaburo, um, which Miyazaki says is one of his favorite books. The film has been in production since 2016 and currently has no release date. So Yeah, it's going to be kind of interesting to see where all that goes in there. So there's that article. And I hope everybody's still enjoying the commentary here in the articles. Um, at least one other person still here, so that's good to see. Um, we're just past the 45-minute mark now. All right, so here we go with the next article here. Why 8686 is the perfect Asian and Pacific Islander Heritage Month anime to reflect on. 8686 discusses themes such as racism and the resilience to move past it. Sounds like a good thing to me. Kind of wish more people would have the resilience to move past it. Relevant for Asian and Pacific Islander Heritage Month reflection. Article by James Hurtado, published 10 hours ago. Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month is being celebrated in the United States this May. Simultaneously, in Canada, Asian Heritage Month is being celebrated. These celebrations are to recognize the achievements and contributions of Asians in North America in helping develop our society, as well as bring awareness to the history of anti-Asian behavior, racial discrimination, and racial inequality that continue to be an issue today. I don't think it's as bad as they're wanting to make it sound, but racism is a complex human evil that may always exist. However, that does not mean victims of racial hate and injustice need to tolerate it. Yeah, racism and discrimination are going to be around as long as there's human beings, as long as we're all on this earth together. Okay, it's not going to stop until we're all up in heaven. Okay, um, but I don't believe it's as bad as a lot of people are trying to make it sound here. 8686 is the perfect Asian and Pacific Islander heritage anime to watch because of the relevant setting and inspiring characters of the story. The characters are unfortunately discriminated against, humiliated, and treated as less than human because they do not have pale skin, silver eyes, and silver hair. They are considered colorata, which is the equivalent of people of color. 86 can be difficult to watch for those who have faced racial discrimination before, but it may also help build resilience. Those who have not faced such difficulties also have something to gain from watching 86, as the story is well written and communicates the complexities of racism in a way that anyone can understand. The characters of color are discriminated against and labeled 86, quote unquote. In the story of 86, people of color are labeled 86, quote unquote, by the Republic of San Magnolia. 86 are not considered human or citizens of the Republic simply because they're physically different from the Alba who have pale skin. Now, interesting how they call the people with pale skin, silver hair, and silver eyes as Alba, as in the term albino, which basically means, no pigmentation or white, so or pale. They are often regarded as humanoid pigs, as taught in military school in the Republic. The 86 are forced to live beyond the walls of the Republic due to this extreme racial discrimination. Moreover, they are trapped in a life or death situation piloting spider-like tanks in a war to protect themselves from an army of enemy drones that seem to be unlimited in number. In doing so, they indirectly protect Alba as well. The tanks are purposely made to be invulnerable, purposely made to be vulnerable, so that 86 have a good chance of death. Millions of 86 have ended up dying over the past 9 years due to this war. To Alba citizens, um, because the Colorado um, are not considered human, they aren't allowed funerals or gravestones to mark their deaths. In fact, in the public of San Magnolia, it's announced that not a single death happens in the field of war. People know that there are 86 in the spider like tanks, but most don't care and prefer to conveniently ignore the fact of disposable people. But again, that's always going to be the case as long as you have a human race. Not all Alba are bad, and not all 86 are good. Oh, I like that headline. Let's see how he explains that one. The Spearhead Squadron understands that not all Alba are bad, and that not all 86 are good. Some of the 86 have come into contact with Alba, who have protected and taken care of them in the past. They've also come into contact with 86 who have treated them poorly. Although racism certainly exists, not all people in the anime of a specific ethnicity or nation are portrayed as inherently good or bad, and many of the 86 understand that just because people treat them unfairly doesn't mean they should do the same to others, which would make them just as bad. I applaud. Now I applaud that statement. That right there is a good statement right there. I think there are a lot of people in our world that need to hear that. Because we got you got so many people playing victim that it's because we're on the verge of a racial civil war. You know, because people just think that you have people who every time they cry victim, they basically it's like they want to wage a war. The only problem is that if somebody decides to answer you in kind, it could get you hurt if not dead. So let's see. Gladylena Melise is an example of an Alba who deeply cares about the 86 and the cruel injustice and discrimination that they face. She stands up for the 86, does everything to try to protect them, and truly considers them human just like her. The reason the 86 remain strong is pride. One of the best lessons in the story is that even though people may be constantly mistreated, because of their ethnicity, skin color, race, or other genetic features, it's still possible for them to be proud of who they are. This is certainly what keeps the 86 resilient to the unforgiving nature of racial injustice and discrimination. The 86 understand that they'll most likely die in this war and probably be discriminated against for the rest of their lives. Nonetheless, choosing to keep fighting, moving forward, and not giving up is exactly the way they can remain proud of themselves. Wow, I like. He's only got 6 articles published. I wonder why. He's either new or maybe he doesn't share the same ideological bent that some of the other writers do. Maybe that's why he doesn't publish as many. But if this is an indication of Mr. Hurtado's work here, I'm all for it because he's not playing into the whole victimization garbage that you see a lot of people do. It's like he acknowledges that there is racism in the world, but I think he's got more of a realistic grip on it than most people. He's not over sensationalizing it, and I like that. These people who sit there and still cry victim over racism, you know, I don't know, just virtue signaling for points or whatever, but it's too over the top. It's like, no, you're not a victim. You're not a victim, okay? But I like this article. I like this guy's perspective on this. Not buying into the baloney. And again, as always, if you have something you want to add to the conversation, feel free to do so. You're welcome to do that. If there's anything I can answer for you, I'll do my best to do so. And if you haven't already, if you can like and share the stream, see if we can get some more friendly people in here, that'd be appreciated as well. All right, so here's the next article we're gonna look into. It should be kind of a more of a not as spicy as the last maybe 1 or 2 articles we had here. Pokemon Anime's World Championship arc comes to Netflix under a new name. Ash's quest to become the Pokemon World Champion continues in a new trailer for the newly branded Pokemon Ultimate Journeys anime. Article by Michael Lasana, published 9 hours ago. And my guess is he's still, after all this time, 10 years old. Anyways, Ash's continuing adventures will now be released under the title Pokemon Ultimate Journeys. The Pokemon Company released a new trailer for the series to go alongside its new title, while further episodes in the series are being rebranded for its international release. The anime series is still being released in Japan under the title Pokemon Journeys, the series, which has been airing continuously since 2019. The series will still continue Master Journey's latest story arc, which sees Ash competing with the best trainers, the series' 8 main regions, in order to become the Pokemon World Champion. I guess this is his latest way of trying to become a world's greatest Pokemon master, I guess. The trailer also teases new challenges for Go and Chloe, Ash's current traveling companions. The trailer's description on YouTube states that part 1 of the newly renamed series will be released exclusively on Netflix sometime within the year. There it is right there. A new image from the upcoming World Championships arc was also recently released, which featured Ash and the other 7 trainers who will be competing against the group includes the Galar Regional Champion Leon, Elite Four member Lance, and Diamond and Pearl fan favorite Pokemon Master Cynthia. Japanese promo materials for the show state the championship tournament will serve as the climax, quote unquote, for the Journey series. The Pokemon anime is likely wrapping up its Journey season to prepare for the upcoming release of the next mainline games in the series, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. The new games will utilize the semi-open world structure that made Pokemon Legends Arceus a hit when it was released earlier this year, and will feature an all-new region to explore and new Pokemon to collect. The games are scheduled to be released exclusively for the Nintendo Switch sometime later this year, and will likely receive their own dedicated tie-in season of the anime, just as every new generation in the video game series has previously. Fans will have to wait a little bit longer to see if Ash can take home another championship, but in the meantime, they can look forward to the upcoming release of a new Pokemon anime series entitled Hisuian Snow. The miniseries will premiere on May 18th and is set in the same region and time period as Legends Arceus. The 3-episode anime will be released for free to the official Pokemon YouTube channel or on Pokemon TV app, which is available on iOS and Android devices as well as the Nintendo Switch. All right, so there we go with that one. Let's see, so we're just past the hour mark now, so we're making good time, I'd say. I think we just have one more anime article to go through, and then we will probably actually no, two more anime articles to go through before we wrap up here on the anime portion of this, anyways. Before I do that, I'm gonna step away for a few moments to care a couple of things. I'll be right back. I hope everybody's still enjoying the content. I'll leave you with some music to entertain you while I step away for a moment. Alrighty, I'm back now. Let's get ready to continue on with the article here. Right, so here's the next article we're going to look at here. Netflix's new vampire anime drops a moody and bloody trailer. Netflix releases a trailer for Vampire in the Garden, um, a new original anime series from WIT, the studio behind Ranking of Kings and Attack on Titan. Article by Michael Esterna, published 7 hours ago. This is our second to last anime article we'll be covering. Um, Netflix released a trailer for its new exclusive anime series, Vampire in the Garden. The trailer introduces viewers to the new show's bleak world, in which the last remnants of humanity attempts to hold out against against an overwhelming army of vampires. The series is being produced by WIT Studio, the acclaimed animation company behind the first 3 seasons of Attack on Titan, as well as the more recent hits such as 2021's Ranking of Kings and the new Spy Family um, anime. And as I understand it, you don't pronounce the X there in from what I understand, X almost acts like a in this case like a punctuation mark, like a hyphen or something like that. So Hiroyuki Tanaka, who previously worked as the assistant director on Attack on Titan, and Ryotaro Makihara, who served as a key animator on the Tatami Galaxy and Summer Wars, are directing the new show together. It's at the sign of the. Joining the Attack on Titan alumni in the crew is voice actor Yu Kobayashi, who previously played the role of the fan favorite sniper Sasha Blouse in the anime adaptation of Hajime Isayama's hit series. Joining her in the cast is Megumi Han, who portrayed Momoji in 2019 Fruits Basket reboot, and Chiaki Kobayashi, who previously starred as the skateboarding phenom Langa in the 2021 sleeper hit Skate the Infinity. Netflix describes the story for the new series as: one cold winter, humanity lost its battle with the vampires, and with it most of where they called home. A small population of survivors created a wall of light in a small town to protect them and give them a place to live in peace. The protagonist, Momo, lives a repressed life, but still wishes to coexist with the enemy, the vampires. Fine, the vampire queen once loved humans and disappeared from the battlefield. As war rages through the humans' town, the two have a fateful encounter. Once upon a time, humans and vampires lived in harmony in a place called paradise. This is the story of a young girl and a vampire on a journey to find paradise. While Netflix canceled many of its original productions in the wake of its subscriber base shrinking for the first time ever, the company appears to be maintaining its commitment to producing more anime. In addition to Vampire in the Garden, the streaming giant also collaborated with WIT Studio on the recently released Bubble, which featured an all-star creative team that included Gen Urobuchi, the writer of Madoka Magica, and Takeshi Obata, the artist behind Death Note. Netflix revealed earlier this year that half of the subscribers use their platform to stream anime, and has a secured it has secured a number of high-profile exclusives, including the current seasons of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Pokemon, and Komi Can't Communicate. Empire in the Garden will be available for streaming on Netflix May 16th, which will be, I believe, this coming Monday. So we go with that one. We have one more anime story to go through, and then we will get into the comic stories. Let's see. Dragon Ball. Piccolo's voice actor shares his fan art and merch collection. In a new interview, Piccolo's original voice actor, Toshio Furukawa, basically the original Japanese voice, by the way, just reveals that his connection to the character extends beyond the recording booth. Article by Michael Lacerna published 5 hours ago. And we see Piccolo again. We, of course, saw that they were giving out his cape. They were getting ready to give out his cape to Japanese fans. Veteran voice actor Toshio Furukawa revealed that in addition to voicing Dragon Ball's Piccolo, he's also a massive fan who collects merchandise and draws fan art of the character. Wow. Talk about really getting into character, huh? In an interview with the official Dragon Ball website, Furukawa detailed the connection to Dragon Ball's surly green warrior. Quote, I actually like Piccolo a lot. Whenever someone asks me who my favorite character is, I always answer Piccolo, quote unquote, without hesitation. I have around 3,000 Piccolo figures. If that gives you an idea of how much I like him. Sometimes I'll also rearrange my figure collection, clean them up, paint them, and that kind of thing, unquote, the actor said. Quote, I collect more than just figures, too. Pretty much anything new that comes out, I buy it all. I'll even buy the same thing more than once sometimes, unquote. I wonder if this guy's going to be participating in that contest they're doing about how they're giving out the Piccolo cape. I wonder if he'll be involved in that. Furukawa admitted. The interview also encourages readers to check out Furukawa's personal Twitter account where he frequently posts his unpolished but charming fan art of the character or pictures of his massive anime memorabilia collection. And here are some of the wow, interesting stuff here. I guess the one on the right there is Piccolo getting his fan mail. Furukawa has been the voice of Piccolo for almost 36 years. Wow. During that time, the character has transformed from one of Goku's deadliest antagonists to one of the series' most reliable heroes. According to Furukawa, his favorite scene is from Dragon Ball Z's Saiyan Saga, in which Piccolo sacrifices himself to protect his pupil Gohan. Quote, the scene where, after building a master-student relationship with Gohan, Piccolo sacrifices himself to save his life. When he falls to the ground on the verge of death, with tears in his eyes, he opens up to Gohan about the time they spent together. That's my favorite. It's such a moving, memorable scene, unquote, the actor said. The relationship between Gohan and Piccolo forms the emotional core of the series' latest movie, Dragon Ball Superhero, which we were talking about earlier. The movie sees the mentor and his protege fighting side by side once again as the Red Ribbon Army returns once again with a new pair of powerful android warriors. The movie will premiere in Japan on June 11th, 1 month from now, with an international release from Crunchyroll following sometime this summer. Furukawa is a legend within the anime voice acting industry. I would say so. I mean, his work's already, going back 36 years. Let's see. And has appeared in numerous classic series, including the original Mobile Suit Gundam. Wow, that goes all the way back to 79. Fist of the North Star, Urusei Yatsura, and One Piece. The 75-year-old actor. Wow. So my guess is this guy Toshio Furukawa is Japan's answer to Frank Welker. This guy is Japan's Frank Welker, basically. Let's see. 75-year-old actor remains active in the industry to this day. In addition to starring in the new Dragon Ball movie, he'll also lend his voice to the upcoming animated adaptation of Junji Ito's Uzumaki, which will be released later this year. Yeah, that Uzumaki, which not to be confused with the Naruto franchise, is a separate movie altogether. That's been, I know Toonami's been saying that they're going to release that sooner or later. That's been for the last 2 or 3 years. It's been marked for release. They just haven't got around to doing it yet. So, anyways, there we go with that one. So we're done with all the anime stories. See where are we at here on time? Hour and 12 minutes. I seem to be the only one here. Let's see now. So now we'll get into the comic stories. Got 5 of those. We got some interesting ones here tonight. Okay. All right, we'll start off with this one here. Exclusive Jiyoung Lee's Guma features demons, nuns, and a Peach Momoko variant. There's that name again, Peach Momoko. It's like Peach. Now crowdfunding on Kickstarter, Jiyoung Lee's Guma, The Beginning of Her, dives into a dark world full of existential questions about good and evil. Article by Jeremy Bloom. Now, initially when I chose this article, it was still within the day, but now they're saying published a day ago. It's probably like at the 25-hour mark, I would say, at this point. 25-hour mark. DC and Marvel cover artist Jiyoung Lee's newest project is the Kickstarter crowdfunded comic Guma, Beginning of Her, a gothic tale of one woman's evolution in a gritty world full of noirish crime and monstrous creatures. CBR can exclusively reveal these covers for Guma number 1 and number 3, as well as a special Kickstarter of issue number 1 variant by Peach Momoko. Currently seeking funding for its first 3 issues, Guma was originally conceptualized by Lee in 2020 and is the artist's first full-length written comic with a total of 7 issues planned. And here, I guess, are some pictures here of it. Maybe this one down here is the variant right there. That's probably the Peach Momoko variant right there. The series' first issue introduces the mysterious protagonist, Khalida, who is a cross between villain and anti-hero and wears an iconic nun costume. Khalida can be seen on Lee's 2 covers, while Momoko's cover features another character named Marsha, who shares a pivotal connection with Khalida. Guma, Guma, the beginning of her, issues 1, 2, and 3, is the story of Khalida and the things she had to do to escape the hell she was in, unquote. The Kickstarter description reads, quote, Guma, number 1, introduces the reader to a hell set in the 80s. Khalida is a survivor and knows every decision she makes has consequences in the Luciel crime family's world, unquote. Assisting Lee on the project is Nabetsi Zetro, and previews of Lee and Zetro's art for issue number 1 on Kickstarter show a glimpse of the fierce demons known as Magi, who serve as antagonists in the series. Speaking with CBR, Guma's project manager, Jisun Lee, emphasized that the series is packed with religious symbolism and was partially influenced by the 2005 film Constantine, starring Keanu Reeves as DC's famous Hellblazer. Quote, Gunma means a Korean word for exorcism, unquote, Jisun Lee said. Quote, Guma was inspired by religion, and as Ji-hung observed, Jiung in brackets, observed the people who have blind faith in cults. He wanted to talk about delusional disorder and obsession as far as the vibe or style, in brackets, aside from Constantine. He had the Dark Knight in his mind. Batman? Okay. Unlike a traditional superhero story, however, Gunma promises to present no absolute notions of right and wrong. Ji-Sun Lee stressed that Gunma is not focused on showcasing superpowers, but instead plans to delve into the quote insights of good and evil, unquote. Ji-Sun Lee said, quote, they dwell in us, and each character's life path changes by choosing dark desire, greed, or righteousness. No one is absolutely evil or good. We can only be on the good side or the evil side by the choices we make, unquote. Gunma, the beginning of her, is available for backing on Kickstarter now, with pledges beginning at $10. All right, so there we go with that one. We got a second person back, so that's good. Again, feel free to, if anything catches your attention, feel free to comment on anything. If anything catches your attention, or ask if I can answer the question, I'll do my best to do so. And if you guys can like and share the stream so we can get some more friendly people on here, that'd be appreciated. Anyways, I shall continue on now. All right, so here's the next article we're going to look at. Exclusive DC and Webtoon collab reveals first look at Vixen, NYC. DC and Webtoon reveal a first look at new images from the two companies' latest collaboration, Jasmine Walls and Mano Azumi's Vixen NYC. Article by C.M. Ramsberg, published 13 hours ago. One of New York City's most beloved superheroes is coming to Webtoon platform in the digital comic publisher's latest collaboration with DC. All right, before I continue the story, I'm going to step away from the computer for a moment again. Just going to take care of some lighting situations here. But I'll leave you with some music to listen to as to keep you guys entertained. I'll be right back. Right, and I see there's some comments. So let's see. Hey, toys. Laugh out loud. The lighting. Yeah. Well. Yeah. I mean. Okay. So remember, toys. Now that of course, I'm here. Six. Uh, six. Okay. Well, maybe I should have left the light on. I'll be right back. Gonna turn. I thought wasn't gonna need my room light yet, but I guess I do. So I'll be right back. All right, I'm back now. Well, as you guys know, I'm broadcasting in the hours between 6 and 8. So, on my time, West Coast time. So, it's a tricky time, especially around now, because the sun doesn't really start setting until like 7:30 or so. So it's like the sun when it comes through my window, you see that glare at the beginning of the show, right? That's why I use it that and usually for the beginning of the show around this time of year during daylight savings time, usually I have to put towels up over my curtains to like kind of cut down on the glare, and then also put a towel up back on the mirror there to try to cut down on that glare. So, anyways, I'll get back to the articles in a moment here. I do thank you guys for the like and the share. Let's get this back up. I just temporarily unshared it because just simply because I was getting the signal icon again. So, anyways, without any further ado, let's get back to the article here. All right, so written by Jasmine Walls. The last session seen Ednonia Lewis with art by Mano Azumi. Vixen NYC stars the DC heroine who can harness the powers and abilities of animals. New key images from the upcoming series are being revealed here for the first time ahead of Vixen NYC's May 26th debut. Let's see, May 26th. So that'd be 2 weeks from tomorrow. The new series is the latest in Webtoon and DC's long history of collaborations, which have previously resulted in popular titles such as Batman Wayne Family Adventures. All of the titles from the collaborations will be available exclusively on the Webtoon platform. So here's some. Oh boy, she doesn't look too happy that she's taking on the characteristics of a rat there, is she? Generations ago, there was a great warrior named Tantu who rejected the choices of other Ashanti. He considered it a threat on his soul when invaders began bargaining with the lives of his neighbors. They were outnumbered, and many of Tantu's fellow warriors were killed or stolen away. So he asked the gods for help protecting his village. Nancy, the trickster spider god, answered his call, impressed by his courage. Nancy gifted him with a powerful magic totem that made him stronger, faster, more ferocious. He used his power to keep his village safe and passed it to his child to do the same. The village is gone now, swallowed up into a city, but the totem has been passed down in our family ever since. We must be cautious, though. There are those who want this power for selfish reasons and to use it cruelly. Get that. Let's see if anybody's saying anything. Webtoon describes the story of Vixen NYC as follows. Ari Jiwei grew up in a small seaside town in North Carolina, but upon graduating high school seeks to connect with extended family in Ghana. There, she meets relatives who gift her a mysterious totem, passed down for generations. Immediately upon returning home, she moves to New York for her freshman year of college. Mari hates it. New York is smelly, dirty, and full of even smellier and dirtier animals. Holed up in her room, she finally inspects the totem, inadvertently releasing its magic. She is hit with an energy that gives her the power of the animal kingdom of New York. Oh boy, So now she gets to be these very smelly, dirty animals. She's got to be loving that, right? She's got to be loving that. Mari had a hard enough time navigating college as a normal girl, and now she not only has to figure out how to quote unquote adult, but also how to quote superhuman unquote. Then women who look unusually like Mari are kidnapped across the city. Vixen learns an estranged distant relative, General Moxai, is on the hunt for her, seeking the crystal for himself. To stop his warpath, Vixen will have to stop him. As she does, she learns the true extent of her abilities. Turns out, she's capable of a lot more than she thought. The first preview images for Vixen NYC give readers a sneak peek into Vixen's life in New York City as she discovers her magical powers and learns to control them for the first time. The character of Vixen first debuted in Action Comics number 521 and was created by Jerry Conway and Bob Oxner. Two versions of the character appeared in the CW's Arrowverse and were portrayed by Megalyn Echikuwoke, the 4400, and Maisie Richardson Sellers, the Kissing Booth 2. Vixen NYC was originally announced last April alongside Red Hood Outlaw and Zatanna and the Ripper. Quote, the DC and Webtoon partnership is an exciting opportunity to explore new genres and DC's iconic superheroes and supervillains, telling new stories that both new and old fans can enjoy, unquote, said DC Vice President of Sales and Marketing Nancy Spears. At the time of the announcement, the debut of Vixen NYC will be followed by the launch of Red Hood Outlaws and Zatanna Ripper later this summer. Alrighty then. Oh, there we go with that one. Let's see. Here's the next article here. All right, so DC Black Label's Human Target gets new one shot. Prior to DC Black Label's The Human Target number 7, Christopher Chance will star in a one shot from writer Tom King. Oh boy. Tales of the Human Target. Article by Brandon Schwer, published 11 hours ago. Christopher Chance, star of DC Black Label's The Human Target, will get his own one shot detailing his life prior to the events of the current series. DC announced Tales of the Human Target from writer Tom King and artist Michael Janine, Raphael Albuquerque, Kevin McGuire, and Greg Smallwood. The new one shot is set before Chance sets out on a mission to find his killer after he drinks poison intended for notorious DC villain Lex Luthor. Quote, in this one-shot anthology, Christopher Chance, in smaller quotes, teams up with members of the Justice League International, some of whom already are prominently involved in this story. Yes, if you remember that story, they basically try to make Guy Gardner look like a real jerk, to say the least. in what could be argued as another virtue signaling, pearl clutching saga. So, in four connecting mysteries, and one of them may be responsible for the poison that has human target living on borrowed time. DC said of Tales of the Human Target. According to King's Post on Everlasting Productions Substack, the one shot comes with three different stories. The first is a Human Target Booster Gold story drawn by Maguire, followed by a Human Target Fire tale drawn by Janine, and included with a Human Target Guy Gardner entry drawn by Albuquerque. The Human Target #1 launched in November 2021 from DC Black Label. The series follows Chance as he disguises himself as high risk clients in order to weed out any would be assassins. Chance accepts a case protecting Luthor when he inadvertently becomes poisoned. With only 12 days to live, Chance then launches an investigation to determine who the killer is. After striking up a romantic relationship with Justice League International's Tora Olaf's daughter, Ice, Chance frequently crosses paths with Guy Gardner, Olaf's daughter's jealous ex-boyfriend. Yes, and you guys may remember when we were covering this article months ago, or a couple months back. Throughout the series, the Human Target #6 brings the conflict to an explosive and brutal end when Olaf's daughter and Chance murder Gardner after he unexpectedly shows up at their house one day. The startling moment leaves the two characters unsure as to what their next move should be. However, Chance says he's relatively sure that nobody is going to come looking for the two of them following the murder. Well, especially considering the fact that he's been poisoned, he's liable to die himself. He's probably got a trip to hell waiting for him. Currently on a break, The Human Target, a 12-issue series, will resume in the coming months with The Human Target #7. DC also announced that fans who have missed individual issues of this series can catch up on The Human Target Book 1, which collects the first 6 issues of the series from King and Smallwood. The book goes on sale September 13th, followed by The Human Target #7 on September 23rd. Tales of the Human Target features cover art by Smallwood and variant covers by David Marquez and Jorge Jimenez. The one-shot releases on August 23rd from DC. Oh, there we go with that one. See, so still two people. All right. Gotta step away from the camera for a moment. I'll be right back, but I'll leave you guys with some music to listen to. Alrighty, then I'm back. We're already at an hour 45 here. We'll be getting done with the stream. Anyways, moving on to the history. We've done 3 of the 5 thus far. Let's see here. Yeah, this that's it. That one. So we got 2 more articles to go through, and then of course do some wrestling wrap up and all that. So, anyways, here's the next article we're going to look at here. Exclusive. Sesame Street becomes a twisted, hyper-violent nightmare in a new Dark Horse series. Dark Horse's Survival Street takes a long-running educational PBS children's show and turns it into a dark, hyper-violent action satire series. So just imagine Sesame Street. Imagine Sesame Street going demonic. That's basically, I think, what they're saying here. Oscar the Grouch is more than just a grouchy puppet who lives in a trash can. He's probably like, you know. Anyways, here we go. Article by Brandon Schwer, published 10 hours ago. Oh, look at that. Kind of got the dichotomy there going. Dark Horse Comics has turned Sesame Street into a new twisted action satire series for grown-ups, Survival Street. Okay, that sounds interesting. CBR has an exclusive look at the new 4-issue Dark Horse series launching this August. Survival Street comes from writers James Asmus, from Rick and Morty Corporate Assets, and Jim Festante. Rick and Morty presents Mr. Meeseeks, The End of Times of Bram and Ben. Artist Abele Kusainoff brothers. Colorist Ellie Wright. We Only Kill Each Other, The Black Ghost. And letterer Taylor Esposito, No One Left to Fight. With cover art by Kusainoff and variant cover by Benjamin Dewey. And you tell me how to get to Survival Street. How to get to Survival Street. Yeah, they got survival scratched over Sesame, I guess. There. Recommended for ages 14 and up, Survival Street puts a darkly humorous spin on the long-running educational children's television series. The synopsis for the series reads, quote, after an unbridled wave of corporations take over America, the country is left completely deregulated. It is effectively carved up into feudal states where billionaires and businesses make their own laws. Among the wreckage, mass privatization shuts down public broadcasting, forcing all the beloved edutainers out on the dirty streets. A group of them sticks together, determined to keep helping kids across the country, and to do it by becoming an A-Team-esque band of mercenaries fighting for, in parentheses, and educating kids in the crumbling corporate war zone of New Best America. Ah, boy! This is taking this is probably taking this another group of SJWs probably taking shots at people like Donald Trump. Quote, Survival Street originated as our personal pandemic passion project, but once Jim and I connected with Abele, he brought it thundering to life as the ultimate world and the story to process so much of our anxieties, frustration, future shock, and gallows humor, unquote, Asmus said of the project. Quote, and as a huge fan of Dark Horse's original series since the early days of Hellboy, Sin City, Madman, and The Mask, I'm thrilled and grateful they've been so supportive of this wild and surprisingly personal series, unquote. Sesame Street first aired on PBS in 1969, combining puppetry, animation, live action, and sketch comedy. Sesame Street was one of the first children's television shows to use a curriculum with educational goals to shape its content. It's also one of the first shows formally studied for its educational effects. The show has now aired over 4,500 episodes after it made the move to HBO in 2016 and then HBO Max in 2020. Past creators have based adult entertainment off Sesame Street, such as the Broadway musical Awesome Q or Avenue Q, which won Best Musical and Book and Score at the 2004 Tony Awards. Survival Street #1 releases on August 3rd from Dark Horse. The issue is available for pre-order at local comic book shops. All right, so getting now down to the last article here. This will be our last article we'll read through tonight. We're at hour 52 already. All right. McFarlane Toys introduces munition packs to let you arm your gun-free action figures. Let me see. Toys, you might be interested in this because this has something to do with toys. ATC. A collection of 15 firearms is now available from McFarlane Toys, allowing collectors to outfit their Spawn figures with a gun of their choice. Article by Jeremy Blum, published 9 hours ago. McFarlane Toys' latest accessory is a munitions pack containing 15 different firearms that will allow creators to outfit their toys with everything from Tommy guns to grenade launchers. Wow! That's quite an arsenal. Exclusively available for pre-order on the McFarlane Toys website with an estimated ship date of July. The munitions pack costs $14.99. A promotional video shows the guns in the hands of the lines of Gunslinger Spawn, She-Spawn, Soul Crusher, and Spawn. The weapons are technically compatible with any of the company's 7-inch figures, including sculpts of heroes like Batman and Superman. Albeit Batman doesn't really use a gun. Batman hates guns. Anyway, but if you're a big fan of the idea of Batman using a gun, I guess they're saying you can give him a gun too. McFarlane Toys obtained the rights to continue the fan favorite DC Direct collectible line last year. In early March, Todd McFarlane discussed some of the restrictions the company had to go through to obtain the licenses to characters owned by Warner Brothers. McFarlane pointed out that characters like Batman could not be packaged with accessories that appeared to be overt weapons and often required unique hand sculpts. I guess DC doesn't want I guess Warner Brothers doesn't want their figures being shown holding guns. Well, Warner Brothers right now doesn't want to give any kind of weapons or appearance of weapons, if you will, in the fingers. Unquote, McFarlane previously said, quote, other than that, it would just be everybody standing there making fist because they're mad. You have to get a little bit inventive. Batman's a little bit limited, but his batarangs are part of his MO. So okay, we'll give him those pieces and see if we can have a little bit of fun with it. Among McFarlane's recent DC output are figures of Batman, Catwoman, and Penguin, coinciding with the release of The Batman, a line based on the Jeff Johns and Jason Fabok Black Label series, Three Jokers, a figure of Damian Wayne, featuring the teenage hero's newest outfit from DC's quote-unquote Infinite Forever initiative, and more. Aside from toys, McFarlane has also been busy in the world of comics with the reinvigorated success of Spawn and its various spin-offs series, King Spawn, Gunslinger Spawn, and The Scorched. Yeah, in fact, he's creating a whole Spawn universe there. Last November, McFarlane also launched a television division under his entertainment arm, McFarlane Films, with a long-awaited Sam and Twitch adaptation slated as one of the company's projects. McFarlane is additionally working on an upcoming Spawn live-action reboot film, which will star Jeremy Renner and Jimmy Fox. The film does not yet have a release date. So there we go. With that. That's all the art. Hey, Batgoat. Sup, Burrow Daddies? Got killed in trivia tonight. Oh, well, at least you're back to having fun with that, huh there, Batgoat? Thank you for liking the stream, of course. Yeah, you got here right towards the end here. We just finished with the articles. Going to do some wrestling wrap up here and then get into each history. We'll probably go a little beyond 2 hours tonight. With that, so let me tell you guys what's going on in the world of wrestling here. So on tonight's Dynamite, they got 3 matches in the tournaments in the Owen Hart tournament, two matches in the men's bracket, and then 1 match in the women's bracket, including what they're calling a dream match between Darby Allin and Jeff Hardy, as these two Daredevil athletes take on each other in the first round of the official tournament. Also, Adam Cole is taking on Dax Harwood of FTR. A lot of criticism about Harwood being in that he's a tag team wrestler, but I guess we'll wait and see what happens. I'll probably have those results tomorrow night. And then the women's side of it, they have the first match in the women's side tonight, as Toni Storm recently arrived. Toni Storm to AEW takes on Jamie Hayter. And another match some other matches on the night include Ricky Starks defending the FTW championship against one half of the AEW Tag Team Champions, Jungle Boy. CM Punk is taking on John Silver of the Dark Order. So those are. So that's pretty much what's going on the wrestling side of it. So with that, I guess it would be a good time when we're at like 2 hours and just past 2 hours here. So I guess it's a good time to start winding things down as we get ready to close out the night with this day in each history. History! All right. So with that, today being Wednesday, May the 11th, 2022, let's go ahead and take a look back at this day in each history. History! First thing I would like to do is I'd like to wish voice actor Terry McGovern a happy 80th birthday today. I know the name probably doesn't sound familiar to most people, but Terry McGovern is an American actor, television broadcaster, radio personality, and acting instructor. He's best known as the original voice of Launchpad McQuack from the original DuckTales series, as well as its spinoff Darkwing Duck from back in the 80s. There, he was the original one, not the reboots that were just out recently, but this is the guy who was providing the voice of Launchpad McQuack in the original DuckTales series back in the late 80s or early 90s there, as well as Darkwing Duck. Aside from that, one of the other characters he was known for doing was Wild Rider from the G1 Transformers cartoon. He also provided the voice of Wild Rider, member of the Stunticons in the original G1 Transformers cartoon. So again, I'd like to wish a happy 80th birthday to voice actor Terry McGovern, who was the original voice of Launchpad McQuack, as well as Wild Rider from G1 Transformers cartoon. So happy 80th birthday, Mr. McGovern. Hope you're having a good day today. So with that, as we continue to move on here with the next piece of niche history, shall move ahead to 1972, as on this date in 1972, the 50th issue of Richie Rich Dollars and Cents went on sale from Harvey Comics on this date back in 1972. So 50 years ago today, the 50th issue of Richie Rich Dollars and Cents went on sale on this date back in 1972 from Harvey Comics. It was you could get it for a quarter and had 48 pages in it. So that happened 50 years ago today. So with that, getting ready to move on to the next piece of niche history, the last piece of niche history as we move ahead to 2002. On this date in 2002, Combat Zone Wrestling, CZW, which is kind of a hardcore wrestling federation, held its high stakes event in Philadelphia at Viking Hall in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. The main event saw a match a high stakes four-way match that pit the CZW World Heavyweight, CZW CZW Heavyweight title, CZW CZW World Heavyweight title, CZW Iron Man title, Messiah's relationship with Christy Mist, and Nick Mondo's career on the line. Those four things were on the line here, pitting Nick Mondo and Messiah against Adam Flash, who was the reigning Iron Man champion, and Justice Payne, the world champion. The Messiah defeated Justice Payne to become the new CZW World Heavyweight Champion. And Nick Mondo defeated Adam Flash to become the new CZW Iron Man champion. So this was a four-way match. Also, CZW Junior Heavyweight Champion Trent Acid retained his title over Jerry Lynn. The Hate Club of Nate Hatred and Nick Gage defeated Team VD, Eddie Valentine, and John Dahmer to become the new CZW Tag Team Champions. Trent Acid wrestled earlier in the night as he and tag team partner Johnny Cashmere and the Backseat Boys defeated Josh Prohibition and M Dog 20 in a three-way dance. Danny Rose hit Max Fury and Z Bar. Let's see, anything else of significance here? Wrestler Ruckus wrestled twice, defeating Derek Frazier and Chris Hero. So, on this date 20 years ago today, CZW held its high stakes with the main event there. And another little side note, too, you guys might know of Messiah. I know you guys may not necessarily follow CZW. CZW was another hardcore federation that was born out of the late 90s, early 2000s there. They were originally based out of New Jersey, and then once ECW closed its doors, they took over the Philadelphia area. Now, the Messiah, who in 1999-2000 was employed by Rob Black in XPW, the Messiah, whose real name is William Welch, was the guy featured on America's Most Wanted. He was the guy who basically somebody had broken into his house trying to emasculate him. I don't know if you guys ever remember hearing about that back years ago. I know it was featured on America's Most Wanted, but a little trivia tidbit for you there. So, anyways, I thank you guys for being here tonight. I know we went a little beyond 2 hours tonight. Let me see. Don't forget, of course, Friday, Batgoat will, of course, be joining me as we continue our look back through comic histories. We're in the 1939 now. Be taking a look at comics that went on sale from Centaur Comics. Probably be reading out of funny picture stories and funny pages. And I hope to see everybody back here tomorrow night as well. So until then, bye!